Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
We're going to warn you right from the outset that I've already been kicked off my internet twice, but the stream will carry on. So if Noelle gets left alone and I disappear into the dark space of internet, I'm coming back. Okay. Having said that, we were late because Noelle had to get her booster cushion.
It's still not that. It's still not that tall. I almost
need a bigger
two.
cushion. You
I
need
know.
a bigger cushion. Okay. Welcome everybody to Tuesday Night Knit Chat with Knits and Pieces. I'm Kelly. This is my friend Noelle. And we are a podcast and mostly knitting podcast from Southern Ontario in Canada. And this is our informal segment of the program where we just get together and chat and knit and talk about all the things and see what you're all up to.
Yeah. So I see there's a lot of people in here already. Go back. Wow, you guys were here early. So we've got Barb and Janie and Mary. Hi, Mary. Is she waving again?
Mary is waving as she weaves in ends. She's weaving.
Oh, as she weaves ends.
Yes.
So, and we've also got, who else is here?
I saw Karen in here, Emily.
Luana, Sue, Trudy. Keep going. Kathy,
Sarah, Wendy,
Lillian.
Margot.
Anyways, lots of people.
So many people. Barb's here.
Yep, Jean, Catherine, Carolyn, Emily. I got to catch up to the bottom of the Elizabeth, Wendy, Sarah, Margot, Anne. I'm almost at the bottom.
You're moving something. Your screen.
I am moving my screen to read all the comments.
Okay.
Anyways, hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Tracy, Deborah.
Peggy.
Elaine. Joe.
It's good to see all of you.
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, yes. So if we've missed some names,
we're sorry.
We're sorry, but hey, we're happy you're here.
Yeah, so, very happy.
Okay, it's Tuesday and we're near the end of August. Does anybody else, are you smelling autumn in the morning when you wake up?
Kelly, stop that.
I'm here for it. I'm ready. I'm totally ready for fall. Pumpkin spice is coming up. The leaves in our province, even though it's smoking hot today, the leaves have that red tint. If you look in the trees, you can see. And seriously, I'm here for fall. I'm ready. I'm ready to start on the sweaters. I'm ready to wear the sweaters.
Okay, I saw a thing on Instagram that I should send to you that it said, fall does not start till September 22nd. All of you pumpkin spice people, sit your asses down. I'm not done with my margaritas yet.
I can't help it. Fall is my favorite season. Does anybody else, if that's your favorite season? It's mine. It's exciting. I don't know why. Like a lot of people think that spring is new and exciting, but for me, it all starts with fall and I'm here for it. Totally here for it. Mary says it's in the air. Sarah is tired of the hot weather. She's tired of heat alerts.
Okay, I will agree. I'm tired of it being this hot. But I love fall, but it just seems like it goes by so quickly.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I just don't want to rush it.
No, I don't want to rush it. Like I don't want to rush the year away, but
nope. I like the seasons.
I could live somewhere where it was fall all year and I'd be the happiest camper ever.
No, I couldn't. I need some summer and I need some winter.
I never need winter. I could live somewhere where winter never happens and that would be okay too.
I still winter's not my favorite, but I don't mind winter. It's like whatever season we're in, by the time it gets to the end of that season, I'm tired of it and I'm ready for something new. So when winter starts, come on, like, don't you love that first snow? Oh, well, I do.
I like it if I can look at it out the window and I'm like, oh, isn't that pretty? And then I'm done with it. The first time I have to shovel it or it inconveniences me, I'm done with it.
I'm retired. I don't ever have to shovel it.
Or, like if you're traveling and it halts your flight or,
that's not fun. Yeah.
So Sarah, are you excited for school? Sarah's our teacher in the group. I don't know if there are other teachers in the group, but I know Sarah's in here tonight. And are you ready for fall? Are you ready for school? I don't know. And you people, your parents with children, are you guys ready for school? Have you had it for the kids?
Zoe is starting school in September. So that's very exciting. That's my oldest granddaughter. She's still 3. She doesn't turn 4 until October, but she starts school, and they've been having practice lunches because she has to be able to like open her lunchbox and open all the things inside it and get things done herself. So they've been having practice lunches, and
that's so cute.
Yep. Yeah, I remember when it was the first day of school with my kids, and at first they want you to go with them, and then it's like, Mom, like, really? Do you have to come?
No, I still remember my son, you know how you get to do little tests at kindergarten, like to see, so that the children are familiar with the classroom. And we had to take them to the school for an hour and just kind of leave them there if you could sneak out of the room. And I remember that there was a line of moms like along a chalkboard on the one wall, and with a lot of them had children wrapped around their legs, crying children, like, no, no, no. My son at 3, because he was a 3-year-old school starter too. He walks into the room, just looks around, and he starts to take off. And I'm like, hey, buddy, I'm going for an hour. I'll be back. And he turns around and goes, bye, Mom. See ya. And away he went. He was so ready to go. He was a little social butterfly.
Jacqueline was my first one, right? And Jacqueline was a really young one because her birthday's not till December.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she was going to school. We still lived in Corunna at the time. So junior kindergarten was all day, every other day.
Yes.
And she'd be like, I'm like, okay, well, it's your first day of school and I'm going to take you. She goes, why do you have to take me? I can go on the bus.
I know.
I'm like, well, Jacqueline, some of the moms like to take their kids on the first day. She goes, well, can I come home on the bus? So yeah, they were ready for school. And then by the last one, I'm pushing them out the door going, yeah, it's school.
Yeah. It's still one of my favorite days of the year though, because I know it was a big thing in our house to take that first day of school photo. Like you had to do it.
Yes.
And I remember when my daughter started high school, and I still did it. And she had to get up really early to go to high school. And then like the first day of school pictures were wrecked because she was getting up and it was practically dark out. So you weren't getting like that really nice picture out in front of the house. But anyway, we always did that. And that was like a big thing. So we've got some other moms in here. Jean misses her kids when they go to school. Barb works in school. She said she's not a teacher. She says she's not looking forward to it because of COVID. She's worried about that. Yeah, Susan has a 5-year-old grandson starting kindergarten. Yeah. Sarah says practice runs are a great idea. I don't know if we know what age of children you teach, Sarah. I know that you're a teacher, but that's what we know. Emily is ready for school. Her oldest is starting 2nd grade and her youngest is in her last year of preschool. They are on their way, Emily, their way. I
had one year where all of my kids, all 5 of them, went to the same school. The youngest one was in JK and Jacqueline was in grade 8. So 1 year where they all went to the same school. At that school, we had someone at that school every year for 19 years. So... But, much as I say, like, I was glad when school started, like, I really liked having my kids home in the summer, too.
Yes.
So, and it was just, you didn't, the routine didn't have to be so strict and you could be, I don't know. It was just, again, the balance of things, right? When summer was over, I was ready for them to go back. When school was over, I was ready for them to be home. So, Sarah says she's elementary. So no direct student. She does special ed and support in library.
Awesome. Maureen's a retired teacher and she says she gets very nostalgic. I just love like, okay, now that I no longer have children, they grew up, they went away. But I love going on Instagram on the first day of school and looking at everybody else's kids. That's one of my favorite days on Instagram. That's like a good day for me. But anyway, Noelle, we are 10 minutes and 14 seconds into this, and we haven't even talked about knitting yet. And we are a knitting podcast.
We are knitting.
What are you knitting? What are you wearing? You're wearing something knitted. Let's start with what you're wearing.
Okay. I am wearing, I'll just stand up here. This is the cupcake tee. I don't know if you call it a tee or whatever. It is by Stephanie Earp. So she is she works at Espace Tricot, but she also does her own designing. And this was a free pattern. It's done in a Surrey silk cloud. And then all this little, the gray in it, or the silvery color, that is a tencel yarn that I held like a strand of a light gray and a strand of a silver together just to give the edging.
Really pretty.
So, thanks. It's so soft. Like this Surrey alpaca is so soft. Well, I guess it's Surrey silk, right? I think it's 72% the Surrey alpaca and 28% silk or something. Anyway, yeah, I really like it. It's so soft and pretty. And it was like basically one skein of the Surrey. And then the tencel I actually had for weaving scarves. I think the scarf that I wove for you has the tencel in it. So the tencel's got super drape and really nice.
Yeah, it's pretty. Really
Remember I bought this Surrey in Columbus. It was cornbread.
Oh, is that what you bought there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember
I had
buying
wanted
that.
to
I
try
didn't
it so badly, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And she had one skein, because I would have bought more if she had had more, but she only had one skein. But it worked out perfectly. I think I used every last inch of it.
Nice. Nice.
So that's what I'm wearing.
All right. So I'm obviously not wearing any knitwear. I got home late. I had a massage after work. And I said last time this happened on a Tuesday that I would never have a massage on a Tuesday again. And then I looked at my calendar. I realized my next 3 massages are on a Tuesday. And I can still see, I don't know, hopefully nobody else can see it, but I can still see the lines from my mask, laying on my face. So firstly, I have massage face. Face is puffy. And
oh, yeah, I can see it. No, I can't. Just kidding.
Well, I could totally see it. I could see it when I went upstairs to brush my teeth. And I ran in the house. So I had this dress on with a jacket at work today. So that's me. But I can talk about what I'm knitting on. I'm knitting.
Let's talk about what you're knitting.
I'm binding. I'm on the ribbing at the bottom of the sweater. And this is the Cloud 9T. Nothing like knitting a summer sweater while you're talking about how excited you are for fall. And it's... I'm awful. It's like a boxy style sweater, and you can see the pattern going the wrong way. There we go, across the front. So there's just a little bit of open work lace on it, and there will be no sleeves on this sleeve island because it's a drop sleeve, and all I have to do is pick up stitches there and do some ribbing. And yeah, so I'm doing 2x2 to finish off the sweater, and I'm going to hopefully get at least a row done in this hour or so that we spend together that I don't have to pick out. Last week I put in an entire row and 1/4. That's pathetic. On my night shift shawl, and last night I picked the entire row out.
I know, you'd think we'd learn, but we don't.
I need to get some plain socks on needles that I can just sit and knit, because even this I really can't just knit and not look. So
yeah,
if I'm looking down a lot, it's because I lose count. I can't count by twos, apparently. What are you working on?
I am working on the Overthrow Rat by Joji Locatelli, and I'll just put this up gradually. So it's, I don't know.
That is so pretty. Are you inside out though?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're showing us the back.
Okay, sorry. We'll try this again.
There. See, even prettier on that side. It's so beautiful. I love that. The colors.
Amazing. Yeah. So this is a sample that I'm doing for Leo and Roxy, but I think I'm going to have to do one. I absolutely love it. I love knitting it. It's just mohair. It's mohair held double, right? So you start off with the one color and it's a garter section, and then you do like a stocking section, and then it's got a brioche section. And I haven't done brioche. I've only done brioche once, and I've never done like straight brioche. It's been in the rounds. So this first section, I ripped it out 3 times because I kept making mistakes. But I must say that I'm at the point now where I can actually fix brioche if I make a mistake. So
I think
it took a while.
I think that kind of that brioche is called syncopated brioche.
Okay.
I think. if I remember that from the pattern that I did. I've only done one brioche project too, and that was one of the Andrea
brioche
Mowry
is
shawls.
just so pretty.
It's so pretty in those colors.
And then the back, right? Like, and like I want to do all the brioche now. And in mohair, it's so nice in the mohair.
It's
so this
beautiful.
mohair is held double all the way through. And this shawl uses 5 different colors of mohair, but like, so I still have that much left from the first color, still have that much left from the gray, the cream. There's going to be stuff left from the last one. And I just dropped the little wee ball I had here. But the only color that you use almost the whole thing is that 4th color. And that's all I've got left. And I actually had to cut a couple of rows out of the sections that were just this color, because you don't want to go into another whole ball of mohair just for like a row or two, right?
No, it's beautiful.
So, thanks. It's, again, so much fun to knit. So.
Okay, so I'm going to back up here in some comments. Joe is here from the UK. And hi, Joe.
That would be late there.
No,
right?
She says good morning. It's Wednesday morning here, not Tuesday like she said last week. That's right.
Okay.
They're ahead, right?
Well, yeah, but UK is only 5 hours ahead. So I guess it would be after midnight. Or is she in Australia? They would be a day ahead.
I'm not sure.
Anyways.
Okay. Sarah is winding yarn, and the breeze from the Swift is so cooling.
Oh,
she says, you know, you're hot when.
Yeah.
Kathy wants to know if we ever finish a project and we don't really like it. Absolutely. I would like to think that I hopefully will get there to the point that I'm not going to care for it before I finish the project.
Yeah.
And then I will stop. I'm not opposed to frogging. And because if I really like the yarn, then I think it's going to be best served in a project that I'm really, really happy with. So one of two things: either if I don't think I'm going to like the project for me, if there's somebody that I think that might really like it, I would finish the project and then gift it, or take it out. But if I've actually finished some things that I'm not a real fan of either, and I know, weren't you just talking about a sweater too that you said you're going to take out?
Yep. I did
It just wasn't for you.
It wasn't even that the sweater wasn't for me. It was the wool and honey. And to me, honestly, I had one sleeve left to do, but it just was not the right yarn for the project. And I've learned different techniques since I did it that would make me happier with the project, because that's the one that's garter stitch. And at that point, I didn't know how to do the helical, so you didn't get that line down the back.
Right.
So I don't like it. The yarn is wrong for the project to me because it's a superwash yarn, and the wool and honey was that one that had a lot of long carries, like you had.
Yes. Yeah. Like hexagons, like a beehive.
Yes. So to me, you really need a stickier yarn for that, so that you're not going to constantly catch it on things, right?
You need a yarn with teeth.
The whole sweater, other than one sleeve, is done, and I'm going to rip it out because I'm not going to be happy with it. No. So there's no point finishing it. But I'm like you. Most of the time, I figured out before I've gotten that far that I'm not going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I mean, sometimes you just don't know what the particular yarn is going to be like for that particular pattern.
And what I find too is when I'm deciding on a yarn or how much the feeling I have for a project, for me, it's usually about the drape. So it's in the fabric that the yarn creates. So there's a couple of ways that you can achieve that. You can sometimes just switch a needle size, go up or down a needle size to create more drape or less drape for the project that you want. And then if you can't achieve that, maybe just stop and then move on to a different yarn. I've done that a few times too, where I really liked the project and I really was enjoying the knit, but I knew that I had chosen a wrong yarn. So stop, start again, do it over. Because ultimately, they're not, you put a lot of your time, heck, you put your soul in some of this knitting, right? Yeah. So you want to make sure that it's something that you really, really love.
Well, I really, really love this.
And I really, really love that too.
I'm going to have to knit another one for me.
You knit that so quick. I think you should knit one for me too.
Well, of course, these are colors that I would have picked, right? So
Yeah, I would totally have picked those colors too. Maybe you can just do one and I'll just use yours the way I did your night shift for
well, there
what,
you
a
go.
year
Way to
before
go.
I knit
We
my
can just
own.
share.
Yeah, that would work. Tracy says she wishes designers would put out their summer designs at the end of winter so she could finish it in time. Well, that's the thing,
That's
Tracy.
true.
Depending on
Yep.
what hemisphere you live in, right? It might work, it might not work. Like, so for us in the summer, Australia is already in the winter.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what you need to do. Follow designers that live in an opposing hemisphere to us. And then their projects will work out. So Janie is a couple of rows from binding off on her night shift. Well, that's that's great, but that's also an entire night of binding off too. To
but
get
it's
through
fun. And you'll be done.
And Luana, earlier, I noticed that Luana's night shift is done, and she said it's on the blocking boards, and she wants it to hurry up and dry so she can try it on. It's such a beautiful shawl.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's so many so many beautiful. Every time I see some of the shifty garments that are done, I'm like, oh, I love that combination too.
Yeah, why didn't I think of those colors?
I know. Okay, I'm just like not gonna knit because I don't think I've made a mistake, and I don't want to push my luck. I did a row.
Okay, so Diane is finishing off a pair of DK socks for her granddaughter who leaves for school in Victoria in 2 weeks. That's a lovely gift, Diane. Now, here's the question. I was talking to somebody, I don't remember where it was. I was chatting, or maybe it was on Instagram. I don't know. That's not the important part. The important part is talking about DK socks. Are you on the DK sock train yet? I want to jump on.
I want to do it. I don't know. They would be socks I would wear. Like I've got boots that I could wear them inside, but a lot of my shoes I wouldn't be able to wear it inside. But yeah, I totally want to. But I've got to look. And I see a lot of dyers are getting into that type of yarn now. So there's got to be DKs out there with a nylon content in them.
Yeah.
Because I looked at most of my DK is not. And most of my DK is 100% wool.
Exactly.
So I have to look for something with the, or I guess you could hold your sock yarn double.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. But then you're using twice as much yarn to knit one pair of socks.
Not really.
I guess. No, not really. Because you're doing less rows and less stitches.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Same.
Because your DK is only probably going to have about 230 yards in the skein. So if you double your fingering.
Well, that's what I was wondering too. Like, would one skein of DK be enough for one pair of socks? But it would by that math, right?
Yeah.
Because it's sort of
so. Because it's going to be, I mean, you might just have to adjust like how long you can make your leg or whatever, but
it should still be the same because it's like you said, it's half the yardage pretty much of a fingering weight. So it should work. Yep.
So go back here and see, missed some. Yes. And Mary agrees. You have to love what you're knitting.
Oh, Sarah says good for me for getting a massage every 3 weeks, Sarah. Every 3 weeks. But I have to get off the Tuesday thing. This happened last time too.
Okay, so Kathy wanted to know a question about the primrose. How did I find the British breed yarn and the difference with knitting with, say, Jameson and Smith? Okay, the British breeds is much softer. I would say it blooms more. I loved it. I would work with it again, but it is pricey. So, and especially for us here, like there's not really anywhere in Canada to get it or to get the kit. So you've got to order and pay shipping. And so all of that gets expensive, but it was a beautiful yarn to work with. And I would say, in my opinion, it's softer than Jameson and Smith. So.
Dawn's here from Sydney, and she says it's Wednesday morning there as well.
Yeah, awesome. I knew in Australia they'd be into the next day, but.
And Joe says it's 20 after 12 in the UK. So yeah, so she's having a late night.
But it is the next day.
It is the next day. Absolutely. Right? Yes. Yes, it is.
So Sarah says she's not sure about DK socks. And she said she just finished her first colorwork socks and they were gorgeous, Sarah. I saw them either on Ravelry or Instagram and I had to favorite that pattern. I might have to do those. So she said that's enough first for now. But Sarah, DK ones would go so fast.
Half the time.
That's right. I probably wouldn't do DK colorwork socks because that I think would be too thick.
That would be too much.
Yeah. So.
But there's a couple of people in here chatting about the Fall for Shawl cowl or Mal.
Okay.
Because I'm going to crochet. So we're going to call it a make along. Do you want to talk about that?
Okay. We are going to start our Fall for Shawl. No, Shawl for Fall.
Fall for shawls.
Our Fall for Shawl Mal on September the 1st. You get a hashtag for that.
Yeah.
FFSMAL. Anyway, we'll work that out. But anyways, it starts September the 1st and it's going to run until October the 31st. So pick out, a favorite shawl pattern or something that you want to do. I know I've got a couple already that I'm thinking about. And just you've got to start it on September 1st or after, and it's got to be finished by October 31st.
And we also decided that it can be a cowl, but it has to have at least 100 grams of yarn in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So. Mary wants to know if we're going to keep Tuesdays or move back to Sundays. I think still Tuesdays, at least for now.
I was thinking about that exactly today. It crossed my mind when I was thinking about all the fall and cooler weather things.
Well, remember, we're still in summer until September 22nd.
I know.
Maybe I'll have to have a margarita on the next knit chat.
Yes. Mary says she wants to block her shifty by tomorrow, so she's weaving as fast as she can. I can't wait to see that on you, Mary.
I know.
That's such a beautiful sweater.
I'm telling you, when I put mine on to take pictures of it outside, by the time I came in, I was like, it's so hot.
So. Sandy, here's another question. I'm going to put this one up here because I've heard both sides of thought on this, and I know what side of the fence I'm sitting on. It's, do you double wind your yarn? Never mind. I totally misread that question. I thought you were going to say, if you were using 2 strands of yarn, do you wind them together and then knit from them? And the answer to that I would have had was a no, because the tension is off.
Yeah. But
what you're actually asking is, do you double wind your ball so the ball isn't so tight? And do you store your yarn in a ball if you're not going to use it right away? Okay. I don't. I don't wind it until I'm ready to use.
Yeah, I don't wind it till I'm ready to use it. And unless it's super tight, I don't rewind it into. I know some people do, and if it's more comfortable to knit from it like that, then you should. But I'm anxious to get away from the winding the yarn and into the knitting. So
I usually, though, when I have leftover yarn, I rewind it.
Yes, if I've got, but I used to always pull from the inside of the cake.
So did I.
And I don't do that anymore. I pull from the outside of the cake.
Yes.
Because if you pull from the inside, by the time you get down to only a third of the cake
collapses on itself.
And half the time I would have to rewind it into a ball from the one end so that it wasn't getting tangled while I was knitting with it.
Right.
So
right.
I usually always pull from the outside of the cake now. Mm-hmm. Now in doing, I grab my ball here. This one that I'm doing right now is, because you're knitting double, I actually just have the one and I'm pulling from the inside and the outside.
Okay.
And that has worked okay for me. Now this one, because the first one that I worked with, because the yarn was wound so tight, I actually couldn't get the middle of the ball. So I had to wind off half of it so that I'd had the 2 to work from. But all the other ones I just pulled from the outside and the inside.
Okay. I've never had good luck with the 2 ends at the same time, like inside and outside. I've never had good luck with that.
Okay. Usually
that's just me.
Mohair.
Okay.
I agree with Sarah. Winding once is enough of a chore.
Yeah, but the second wind is going to be less, right?
Deborah, what if you have 10 balls? What if you're doing color work and you've got 10 balls?
Okay. Does anybody remember, though, when you first got your ball winder? The first time.
I wanted to wind everything.
I wanted to wind everything. I could have made a career of winding. I was so excited about it. And now I have to wind one fingering and I'm like, oh, this is never going to end. I'm rolling my eyes. This ball is forever. But anyway, Deborah says Alley Cat from Ottawa just put out a DK skein for socks with a contrasting color.
Okay.
Alley Cat.
I have to look that
I'm
up.
going to look that one up.
Okay. I'm just going back to.
Tracy was talking something about a free pattern, and I don't know what she was talking about. I lost the conversation. Maybe it was about the DK socks.
I don't know.
Barb was talking about the crazy sock lady pattern for DK.
Oh, and someone had asked about good tutorials, and I think there was someone mentioned Earth Tones Girl.
Okay, yes.
Okay. And also, I think if you go and look at like Berry Pink Knits, she also has sock tutorials.
Okay.
So those are good ones. I mean, I think that the best thing you can do is probably just start with like a vanilla pair of socks. And actually, you know what? A DK weighted sock would actually not be a bad one to start on.
No,
because
it would be much better.
That's right. And you would see progress sooner. And it's still all the same techniques that you're going to do in a fingering weight sock.
And I'm thinking you would probably knit them on maybe a 2.75. Is that what you're thinking? Or 3?
Maybe a 3, because I think sport might be a 2.75. So maybe a 3 or a 3.25.
Okay. So but yeah, there'd be
that in the pattern. Like it would give you that info in the pattern. But I think it would be like it would be a good momentum booster because you would see progress quicker and still learn all the techniques before you move into a finer weight sock.
Well, Diane says after making at least 3 dozen pairs of socks in her fingering weight, she's loving the DK. Well done, Diane. I hope you entered some of those in our sock cal.
Yeah, because DK socks are fine. You can put DK socks in there too.
Now, Kathy says that she did knit one DK sock, and the Crazy Sock Ladies was a free pattern, she said, but it is tight, and she blocked it and stretched it enough to fit her 12-year-old granddaughter. Okay. So I guess, like that's a learning curve too. Like if you're familiar, we all know, like if I'm a sock knitter, Noelle, you're a sock knitter, we're comfortable. Like we can say, we know 60 stitches on a 2.25 needle is going to fit our foot. We're in no man's land with DK. That's a brand new experience.
And the thing is, like when you look at a pattern, everybody's not the same, Kelly, because you do 60 stitches, I do 64 stitches.
Right.
Right. So you've got to figure out like what works best for your knitting tension and the fabric that you want the socks to feel like.
Exactly.
So, anyway, so
Janie says
she finished fingering weight socks first before she starts DK ones. She's going to double strand the Regia Merino Yak. We still have to use that one.
I know. I was thinking about that yesterday too. You were like in my head.
Yeah. So, and Kathy said she ordered sweaters quantity for the chestnut sweater. Oh, that's gorgeous sweater. I looked at that and, I was actually telling Ross, I said, Marie Wallen's new, she has a Fair Isle Club.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only so many kits that are put out. And I think it's dropping like in December. And I know it's going to be expensive, but I'm like, oh, that'd be close to Christmas. But the only thing the only thing I don't know is what the pattern's going to be.
Right.
Like, I want to do a sweater. I don't want to do a wrap or a throw or something like that. I want to do a sweater. So I have to wait and see what it is. So anyway, but Kathy, you will love the yarn and I can't wait to see your sweater.
Mm-hmm. Janie said for DK socks, toe up 2 at a time is ideal so that you don't run out of the yarn. And that's a good point too. Yeah, that would work. Because then you just knit till you're out of yarn.
Yeah. Now Heather says she knits the DK and she loves the squishy thickness. But she says the next time she's going to go down a needle size. But she seemed to be looser with DK. And I think, again, that's all learning. Like the more you do and the more you knit with. And we even know that when you're doing socks with fingering weight yarn, there's a lot of variations in different fingering weights too.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure you're going to find the same thing when you look at a DK yarn. So.
Well, yeah. How many times have I, like this yarn is a DK weight. And like, if I were to look at this, and I know it's a different construction because it's linen and silk, but I mean, look at how thin this is.
Yep.
Why isn't it focusing? Just a second. There, look at how thin that is. And Like I wouldn't think of that as being a DK. Like if I pick that up, I go, wow, that's almost a fingering weight. But it's certainly like I'm getting gauge and everything as a DK. So and then plus it's going to bloom.
Bloom. That's right.
Bloom.
Well, this is that. I mean, it's not a new yarn, I don't think, but it's a yarn that I've seen lately on a lot of podcasts of people using. And this is the Barocco Remix Light.
Yes. And it looks thin for a DK,
well,
right?
It's classed as they've got it classed here as a 3. So what's a 3? Like a sport? So it says 3 light.
Okay.
Because I know a 1 or a 2 is like sock. But anyway, it's 100 grams, but there's 432 yards. Well, that's a lot of yards for a sport.
That's a fingering amount of yards.
Yeah, but
it's pretty thin.
So I'm anxious to see what it knits up like.
And what are you doing with that?
Well, I don't know yet.
Oh.
I haven't decided. And then I got that color. So this color I think I'm going to use, and I've got two balls of this color. Or is it a skein? If it's in this shape, is it a skein? Right? Because those things that we buy that's in
those are
big
hanks.
Round circle, that's a hank.
That's a hank.
I'm pretty sure this is a skein.
That's a skein.
And a ball is a ball.
What are these?
Cakes.
No, when they're like that, when they're round, like I didn't mind that. That was
Hamburgers.
Like that. Puff balls.
It looks like a hamburger.
They do. I would not eat a green hamburger. Just saying. Oh gosh, I'm so far behind in comments. I'm sorry, people. We digress tonight.
Okay, just a minute. I just found out. Kathy just told me that the Marie wallet is going to be a sweater.
Oh, well.
I might have to get
out
early.
Your credit card. Let the moths out of that wallet.
Whatever it drops and get in there. Oh, and it's a cardigan. That would be amazing.
Yeah,
I'll have
absolutely.
to look. I haven't checked. I know I looked through, but I didn't know that picture was what it was going to be. So anyway, so Barb said, yes, this is a skein. And Tracy's going, Ross.
Yes, exactly. Let the moths out.
Anyway, so has anybody used this? And I know it also comes in just Barocco Remix, which I think is like a DK to a worsted. Mm-hmm. But like it feels amazing. It's 30% nylon, 27% cotton, 24 acrylic, 10 silk, and 9 linen. And it's just got that nice tweedy kind of look. Like so with this one, I think I'm going to do that Hummel. I think it's called Hummelbee shawl. It's by Fiber Tales. It's the one that's a triangular shape, but then it's got the bees that go kind of around the border.
That's my color. What are you doing with one of those?
Oh, I just did like this color. So I can't have everything pink. I didn't think a bee shawl in pink would be appropriate.
No, nobody would get it.
No,
nobody would get it.
No. But anyway,
so Kathy says that the DK sock was a learning curve. Mm-hmm. And Janet says, I think she's saying that she does 56 on socks. Maybe that's for DK.
Yeah.
Heather says she's going to have to go down a needle size next time. And Barb said 3 to 3.5, depending on the gauge or the pattern.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, about a 3 to a 3.5.
Okay. 56. Yeah, 56, Janet says. Okay.
Okay.
Well, see, think about how quick you'd get around a row at 56 stitches. And Barb also says 3 is a DK and 2 is a sport weight.
Okay. Okay. Well, then they classed it as a DK, but.
Susan said that she knit a baby sweater in that. In the remix.
Okay. It comes in gorgeous colors, and it's really, really cost effective. Like the skein is $16.
It's beautiful. I love it's kind of got like that similar feel to this. It's got those like that white color in it too. And well, mine's a Barocco as well. I have the Barocco chai.
Right. So
Barb says, fall for shawl. She's in with Stephen West's yearly mystery knit along with a shawl. She will be set for winter.
Yeah.
Barb calls those yarns donuts, by the way. But I like hamburger.
Not a hamburger. Well, it looks like a hamburger bun. Anyway.
Mary wants to know if anybody else rewinds store-bought skeins. I do not, Mary. I pull those from the middle. And I know you'll get yarn barf, usually at the beginning. But then after that, I'm okay with it, usually.
Yeah. As long as you finish all that yarn barf before you go to bed. That's my rule.
That's Noelle's rule.
That's my rule. You can't go to bed if there's yarn barf sitting on your couch.
No, it's got to go away. It's got to be knit up.
You need to clean up the yarn barf. I've had to stay up pretty late sometimes.
Wine helps keep you up late.
Yeah, but then I usually have to reknit the next day and I end up with more wine barf. Wine barf. Yarn barf.
Luana said that she has been eyeballing the Morning Ritual sweater by Andrea Mowry.
Yes, very pretty. I know.
We were talking about that last week. It's really beautiful. Really beautiful. Susan says that reminds her of the Elspeth.
Yes, it does. The silky, yeah, it does. And it was actually also classed as a DK, but yet it looks like a finer weight yarn. I know I actually have some of that from about 20 years ago that I haven't used yet.
Well, even the sweater that I made, sorry, the yarn that I used for my the Ramona sweater, the cardigan, was a Louisa Harding, and it was called Ezkale. And it looks a lot like that. I know that mine, the fabric was it was a heavier yarn. It would be probably more of a worsted, but it was similar to that. And I really, I wear that cardigan so much, although it probably wasn't the best choice of yarns because it didn't hold the structure really well for the raglan. So I ended up having to do crochet reinforce around the neck just to hold everything up. But Elizabeth says that the mystery cowl doesn't start. I guess she's talking about
October, the Stephen West.
Stephen West. It's till October, but you have until the end of October for the fall for shawl. I can't say it either. Fall for shawl.
Fall for shawl. You've been listening to me too much.
Elaine has picked out the Pembroke shawl to start in September. She has a gorgeous yarn. I can't wait to see that one. That's a nice pattern.
Okay, going back to the DK socks, Kathy says that Ray of Needles at the Ready casts on 48 for DK socks. So again, I think it's just something that you're going to have to work with, suit your own knitting style and whatever the yarn
48
is
for 48 for a man's sock. Was Ray making those for himself?
I don't know.
That's not many for a DK, is it?
No.
Okay, I'm intrigued. We got to get on that.
We'll have to do that. We'll have to. Okay, Kelly, we have to have a pair of DK weight socks done by next week.
Okay.
Everybody else too.
Oh, I didn't even knit that stitch. Fix.
See, I gave up on the knitting a while ago.
Well, I want to finish this tonight, so I thought if I could get at least a couple of rows done. I don't know. I only have to do an inch. Maybe I better slow down. I'm pretty close to an inch. An inch doesn't take very long in a DK, right? Oh, well.
Okay, so Susan says she thinks Grocery Girls also said they used 48 stitches for DK.
Okay, well, I gotta look into it.
We could get a pair of those done if there's only 48 stitches.
Well, you could, maybe. I could get one done.
There you go. Okay.
I could get one.
I have to check if I have any yarn that's got nylon in it.
I probably don't for a DK, but we're going to look up Alpaca.
Yeah, well, we won't get that in time to start it for next week, though.
Oh, well, who knows?
Oh, wow. You know, the problems of being retired. Anyways, back to the people that are doing a mystery knit along. Can't do it. I can't do it.
I did one. I'm not going to say which one I did. I enjoyed the process. I enjoyed the pattern. It was a shawl. I don't own the shawl anymore. I gave it away because it just wasn't a shape that I'm really comfortable with for shawls that I like to wear. Like we all have a certain shawl design that we migrate to.
Right.
And it was a crescent and it was an offset crescent. So like more like think about like a upside down quotation mark, right? Where it's like the crescent was bigger at the middle, and then it came down to the longer point. Okay. And it wasn't, I tried so many ways to wear that shawl, and it just wasn't going. It just wasn't for me. So I gifted the shawl away. The recipient was pleased, and I enjoyed the process, but I can't leave things like that up to chance. I can't do mysteries.
No, I want to know what I'm knitting.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then
now I've done several patterns that were mysteries that once they were published
after,
and then I've gone back and done them. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one, and this one is a kind of a different construction, because you've got the one side, like this side basically stays consistent, and then the other side increases all the way out. But realistically, when you're done, it's sort of like you can wear it kind of like a triangle.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's kind of an offset triangle. And then I think with the drape of the mohair, it's a little easier to kind of position it, like with a more drapey shawl. It's harder when you've got a shawl that's more that doesn't quite have the drape to get it to lay right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what everybody knits. I mean, I love knitting shawls.
I do
you know
too.
that. I'm just adding to my shawl wall.
Well, your shawl walls are probably lonely, because have you knit a shawl since your 91 shawl count?
I don't think I've done one since I did. The last one was the lightweight hipster in the Shirley Bryan yarn, I think was the last shawl that I did. And then this one is not for me, so it doesn't even count.
Right. Well,
right? Because it's a sample.
True.
No, it's not going on your my shawl wall. Maybe
no.
I'm going to hang it on my shawl wall and take a picture though before I deliver it.
Sherry had a question. She said that she got herself confused. Does the next shawl have to be a one hang? No, absolutely not.
No.
It has to be a minimum of one skein in the shawl. So like 100 grams minimum. So that's because we were saying you could do a cowl if you like, but the cowl had to have at least 100 grams of yarn in it. So it can be as much yarn as you can fit. It can be a shawl. It can be a schlanket.
Yep.
You can knit it. You can crochet it. You can do all the things. Anyway, any make along where you end up with a shawl that uses more than 100 grams.
Or just 100 grams. You can do a one skein shawl. It can be a one skein shawl.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going back to this, someone asked if maybe we could use this to do the DK weight socks. I think this yarn to do a DK weight would be too drapey. You might be able to use this one to do a fingering weight sock, but I'd probably use something else for like the cuffs just to have that tightness, because I think this yarn's going to have a lot of drape.
Yes.
So, but I don't know that yet because I haven't worked with it. I just, from the feel of the yarn, I think that's what
it's soft though. It's really soft, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
let me see.
Does anyone have a favorite DK shawl?
The hipster.
Yeah. Yep. The hipster. I'm actually going to do that pressed flowers one as well. And that's
a nice one.
Yeah. That's a DK weight. So those are the two that I hope to get done during the time period.
Okay.
So.
Amanda says that her favorite shape is a rectangle. She said it's good to wear or use as a lumbar cushion. That's one of my favorites to take when I'm traveling, because yes, you can use it sort of as a cozy blanket too. And I like that. I like that shape too, I have some shawls that really never leave the house. I call them my house shawls, and they're just, I don't know. I treat them like a house coat. I'll have on, pajamas or something, but you just want something around your shoulders. So I'll put that on and wander around the house in those. And sometimes if I like to stay up, like if I like to read in bed and I just want something around my shoulders, that's the kind of shape. I actually bought a shawl. It was a clever construction. I bought it quite a few years ago, and I've often thought I should actually knit a rectangle, and I should do this, but I can't quite explain it properly, but it had buttons on it in such a way that I'd have to get it back out and look at it, but you could kind of twist it around and then button it, and it turned it from a shawl kind of into a cardigan. It was really clever.
Okay.
And I thought I should just knit one of my own, and then I could do that as well.
But I use my night shift shawl as my traveling shawl.
Yes. Well, it's so
So,
light and it's not heavy
yeah,
to carry, right?
yeah.
Has
So,
anybody ever lost a shawl traveling with it? Have you, Noelle?
no,
No, I haven't
no.
either. I've never lost any knitwear.
I think I've lost mittens.
Have you? I
I think so.
I would be so disappointed if I did that. I was thinking though, a couple of days, I've had a lot of knitting thoughts, and it's got to be the fall. It's the changing of the season. So I was saying, I bought this yarn. I don't know if anybody remembers, but it was like that yarn mission that I went on to get. And having said that, the name of what I even went on to get escapes me, but I got it and I got lots of it. And it made the most beautiful pair of fingerless mitts. My coworker had made them and I was so in lust with them that I had to have them. So I got the yarn and I was thinking about it yesterday, thinking how much I would like to get those on the needle. So maybe I'll cast that on. And then I wanted to do a hat to go with as well.
Yeah.
So,
okay, there's some questions here about, okay, Sarah thinks that the hipster is a good suggestion. It is. That's a great shawl and it works up quickly too.
I made both of mine in a DK, Sarah. I do realize it's a worsted pattern, but both of them I used a DK. And the first one I used was the Alpaca by
Blue Moon Fibers.
Blue Moon Fibers.
Yeah.
And it's luxury. I love it.
And that's
love it,
Jacqueline did hers in that too, and she really likes it.
Yeah. And then the second one, I used a commercial yarn and it was the Barocco Vintage DK. And
yeah, because you want it to have
too.
drape. You want it to have drape. So, and yeah. I think that the worsted that it actually called for was the Mayak, and the yak yarn is really drapey. So,
are you done weaving yet, Mary? She says that this is making weaving in the ends fun. Are you done yet? Are you almost done?
Oh,
she's going to see a picture of it tonight.
Yep. Now, Lynn wants to know what brand of alpaca equivalents would you use instead of mohair? This is like an equivalent to mohair, the one that's in this top here. And it's I've only actually seen, well, mostly you see it with indie dyers, right?
It's hard to get. It's hard to get.
It is hard to get. It's harder to get. But you can also use, but I think it's a little bit thicker. You can also use Drops has a brushed Surrey.
Yes.
Silk. And it's, I think, 140 meters in 25 grams. So it's a little bit thicker than, like, the mohair is usually around 200 in 25 grams. So it is a little bit thicker, but basically because you're getting a lot of the texture and the kind of filling in the holes from the fuzz in the yarn, like the mohair and the alpaca, pretty much, I think they can be used interchangeably.
Okay.
So
I think talking about that, I don't know if there's still any in their shop, but I know that Ginger Snap did have some. And I don't know if they still have some.
So does Full Moon Fibers.
Okay.
That's in Canada. They carry the Surrey alpaca.
Yeah.
So
Barb said that she lost one of her favorites, but somebody found it and got it back.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. That's nice. And Susan lost gloves and mittens. You need a string, Susan. Put a string on those.
Yeah, I know. I did that in mine once. Okay, so Kathy said, is the Shawl by Fiber Tales the one that's steeked? I don't believe that it's steeked, Kathy. I think this one is just back and forth because it's all in one color, although I know that that doesn't mean that it couldn't be steeked. But for me, I actually don't mind purling. And I mean, I like in the round if it's color work, just because color work's easier to do if you're in the round. But if a shawl's back and forth and there's no color work in it, I don't mind doing the purl rows. But I think it's written like that, but I'll have to check. I'm not positive on that.
Oh dear. Susan said that she left a lace weight shawl at a friend's house after an outdoor party and they washed it for her. I'm assuming that must have turned out okay, because otherwise, if I was the person who did that and I washed something that I didn't know and I ruined it, I would never own up to it.
No.
And Karen said that her kids have lost a lot of knitwear.
Yes. Well, my kids lost knitwear when they were growing up. But again, mostly mittens and hats. I don't think we lost a sweater anywhere. So
I like the hat you just finished on your, was it the last podcast, Karen? You did one of the hats, actually Jody's pattern. And I really like the colors. It was leftover yarn. And she was telling a story about how like she's a newish knitter, right? And so she doesn't have a lot of scraps from projects left over. And she said that she felt so good about using up scraps in a scrappy project, but it looked great. It looked fantastic. I really like the pattern. It's very nice.
Someone had mentioned here too that if you have the yardage, you can actually use a fingering weight pattern and do a DK weight shawl and just go up needle sizes, because we've done that.
Yeah.
And one pattern that I've done that with is the Silver by Northbound Knitting. What's her name? Lisa Much.
Yes.
And the Silver pattern is a free pattern, and it's a triangular shawl. It just has minimal kind of texture stitches in it, but it's really pretty. And I have done that. I've actually even done it in a worsted weight yarn, and then it makes a really nice big triangle.
Yeah.
So that is a good idea. You just got to know there that you've got enough yardage.
Mm-hmm. And that's a good way to use up some stash, because some people, myself included, we tend to complain a little bit about the stash we've acquired. So
I don't complain about mine.
Well, I don't complain about it, but I guess, sometimes we buy something that we liked at the time, and then you think later, well, maybe it's not your taste so much now. But if you can double up or, find two things that go well together, that's a good way to use them up.
I've been finding, I'm still buying a lot of yarn. I'm not going to say that I'm not, but I have been picking more things out of my stash to do. So anyway. Okay, Barb wants to know where you can get slub yarn in Canada. Okay, well, Full Moon Fibers has slub yarn, and they also sell some of their colors at Little Red Mitten.
Yes, and both of those are Canadian sites. Yep. So that's that.
Okay.
Ray is talking about making the Choose Love shawl. That's a nice shawl.
That's a shawl by Forest City Knit Girls.
Yes.
I did that one
last year. You did that one.
Yeah.
You won that yarn too, right? Didn't you win that yarn? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I gave the shawl to my mom because I knew it was like, it's kind of a summer weight shawl and she's cold all the time. Yeah. So it was the perfect shawl for her to like throw around her shoulders and I could spare one. I had lots. So, but yes, it is a very nice shawl too. Now Sherry says she's going to do Tulip Fields Forever. I don't know that one, but she's doing it in a fingering gradient.
Okay.
All these ones I'm going to have to look up.
Janie says that she is binding off the night shift. Can we get congratulations for Janie? Yay, Janie.
And there's another shawl someone's talking about, the Kilranu. I've never heard of that one. All these ones I'm going to have to go and look up because I definitely need to have more shawls in my queue. But I think that'll be really nice because it's nice to see, like, again, there's so many shawls when you go in and look, like either through Instagram or through Ravelry. There's just so many of them. It's kind of nice when you see someone else do it and actually focus on it a little bit more.
Oh, Kathy just joined in. Hi, Kathy from Texas. How hot is it in Texas? Oh,
Karen said the hat that she did was the Mount Jasper.
Mount Jasper. Yes. It was such a pretty hat. I really like the colors that you knit that in.
So now Amanda said she did a Raina shawl with worsted weight on size 8 needles, and she said it turned out really nice. So I think 8 for us for Canadian would be
5.
I think it's 5 millimeter. Yeah. And the Raina shawl, I think the Raina shawl is a free pattern and it's in fingering. And yes, it would turn out really nice in a heavier yarn.
And it's also one of those patterns that I think are like, I don't know, 10,000 people have made that. It's one of those shawls that it's a great first shawl, and it's a really nice pattern that have been
and it actually really looks amazing in a gradient.
Yeah,
like the triangles always look nice with the gradient because you get that. I don't know.
Yes.
So
Barb says if she had a penny for every skein, She could buy a bunch more yarn.
I agree.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Anyways, Karen's got to go. So bye, Karen.
Bye, Karen.
So Susan says she's going to knit a shawl pattern that she's already bought but hasn't knit yet, and use stash yarn. Yay! We should do that. We're going to have to do that after Christmas, maybe in the new year. Do like a stash along.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
I'm all over that.
Yep. So,
Amanda says that 80% of her stash has been donated to her. So there's a lot of, what do I do with this? Mm-hmm. That's fun. That's fun.
Well, I bought most of mine and it's still, what do I do with this? I don't always have a plan in mind. It's just
at the beginning of the year, I said I was going to be more mindful, that I wasn't going to stop purchasing, but I was going to be more mindful. I was going to try to be less sucked in by the shiny things that grab my attention. And that's been easier because since we haven't had yarn festivals, not getting sucked into shiny things has been easier. So now I'm more intentional with what I buy, but that doesn't mean that I have been able to keep up with my intentions in any way, shape, or form.
No.
We talked about this last week. I need to clone 3 or 4 of me that just their sole purpose in life is to sit and knit for me. And then I'll just spend my days wearing it.
Yeah, but I like doing the knitting. That's the fun.
Well, I like doing the knitting too, but I also have the realization that my interest of not my interest, but my desire to knit the things, I don't have the time.
No, I know. And I mean, there's so many new things coming out all the time that's, what was, by the time I do this shawl, the next thing that I was going to cast on has changed half a dozen times because all these new patterns have come out.
Exactly. I'm like the kid at the dessert table. My eyes are bigger than my belly. I see all the things I want to eat and I can't possibly eat them all. And I can't knit everything that I see and I knit. And I know that like in this past month and a half, I've had the extreme pleasure of actually being inside 3 yarn stores where I actually got to squish the yarn, feel the yarn, and I bought the yarn. And I haven't, well, that's not true. I bought this summer and we're at the end of summer and I'm going to have a sweater out of it. But it's the only thing that I bought this summer that I've actually knit this summer. All my good intentions gone awry. So,
yeah. Anyway.
Oh, well.
Okay. Janie said that she decided to knit a brand a month from her stash. That's kind of a neat idea.
Yeah. That's sort of like your,
the Lucky Dip thing.
Lucky Dip cow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yep. Because I'm pretty sure I have more than 12 brands in there.
You think? It's almost sad though. Like when you find, okay, so it's a mixed emotion. So if you find either, whether it's commercial or indie dyed yarn, and you find one that you really, really like, and you're like, oh, wow, I love this yarn. I made this thing. I love this thing. But then you want to go back and you want to buy more colors and you want to buy more of that yarn. Mm-hmm. Well, then again, you can't knit all the things.
I know.
You just can't. It doesn't matter how much I like something.
Yeah.
My expectations of my time. My husband complains about that all the time. He said, you seem to think that your calendar has bigger spaces than you schedule for. Like I say, oh, no, it's Saturday. I can do this, and this in this time frame, and we'll still have time to spare.
Yeah, no, it doesn't happen. Anyway. Sarah said being mindful is good until you get to the sale bin.
I know, right? It's So when we came home from the wedding, I didn't talk about this. When we came home from the wedding, we had to drive through Listowel. And if you're in Southern Ontario, you know what's in Listowel. It's the spin right, spin drift. What is it called? Like we call it Peyton's.
Spin right.
Yep. Is their outlet center. And you know what? You can go in there and there are some good deals and there are some not so good deals, but sometimes you find like that hidden gem. And they were selling bulky wool, 6 skeins of it, wrapped up in a pack, all the same color, for $20. And if you bought 2 of those 6 packs, they were going to give you a 6-pack. Do I need it? No. But it was good colors. There was like a taupey neutral. I bought a taupey neutral. I bought a black. And then I bought a barber pole that had the taupey neutral and the black in it. And I'm thinking there's countless projects. I can do we were doing those head warmers last year. I could do a nice bulky cowl.
And now you can probably do a million of them with that amount of yarn.
I couldn't help myself. And I said to my husband, I said, you know what? I realized that I've already been to a yarn store today and I spent some money, but we're going through Listowel. It's on the way. And he says, and we both know that you need more yarn. And I said, well, I know, but it's like, we're here. Yeah. And I don't come here very often. So we have to stop. But
Margot says she has 106 items in her queue. I don't put them in my queue. I just put them in favorites because
that's what I do, because my queue would change and change and change. So Barb says, when I figure out how to get the clones, could I share the trick? Oh, please, Barb. And if anybody else knows how to do it, let me know.
Or Tracy said you could do a blanket with that yarn.
Oh, I could.
Yeah.
That would be cozy.
You could do it. Yeah. Really and someone else, I don't know if you were talking about this, but you could do a mitered square one.
Yes. Yeah. Because I'm doing so well on this mitered square that's been going on for 3 years and has a total of, 30 squares in it. Doing so well at that, using up scrappy yarn. And you told me, Noelle, you said, oh no, I have better things to spend my time instead of using up scraps. And you were so right.
Oh, when you did, I don't do a cozy memories or no, I don't have time to do that.
You were so right. I could now, every one of these little balls back here, my little scrappy ends, every one of them could make a little pair of baby socks, I bet.
There you go.
That's a better use of my time. I made burping pads on the weekend.
There you go. Sherry says that she just treated herself to 8 hanks today, all singles, forgetting until after completing the purchase, I get to go to my local yarn store tomorrow.
Oh dear.
130 miles round trip, but it's a grandbaby visit. Well, if your grandbaby lives near a yarn store.
It's just a bonus, right?
Well, it's like a lot of times when I go to see Jacqueline and Zoe, I always go the St. Thomas way and go to Little Red Mitten. And
it's on the way. It's on the way.
It's on the way, but it adds 20 minutes to the trip. Actually more than that.
Susan is talking about the Age of Brass and Steam makes a nice scrappy yarn shawl. And she used leftover finger. Have you?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard of that one.
You can do it. I think it's kind of one you can do whatever size. So you can actually have it just like a little kerchief thing, or you can do it bigger. It's very similar to the Boneyard Shawl by Stephen West. So.
Jose gave a big bag of yarn away to a school in her village. Mm-hmm. That's a nice idea.
I did at one point go through mine and give a lot of it to my church, like a lot of the acrylic that I knew I was never going to get around to knitting. And then of course, then you think, oh, well, I just want to make this little stuffy thing and I wish I had acrylic, but so I just don't make the little stuffy thing. So.
Oh, I don't know. How many snowmen did you make last year?
Yeah, but I made those out of like wool and mohair.
You know what we should do?
Because they needed to be fluffy to look like snow.
We should just all a group of people get together, bring some yarn that you're not in love with anymore, and get together in a knit circle and drag out your knitting and just throw all your skeins that you're not thrilled with into the center, and everybody just kind of goes through and picks something that they like better.
Yeah.
That would be a good way to redistribute.
Well, remember we did that up in Shelburne. Everybody brought yarn, except I didn't, because I didn't want to give it away.
Tightwad Noelle couldn't part with one of her 5,000 skeins.
No. It wasn't that you were giving it away. You traded. Right? Because you all got something. It wasn't like you were just giving it away. I would have given some away, but I just couldn't part with any of it. I would have bought some to give away.
I think I took a couple of skeins, and then once I had them on the table with everything else, I thought, you know what? They're kind of pretty. Why did I bring them? I'll just take that one back.
Well, that's like when I go through and put it all in bags. And then, like I said, because Ross couldn't take it all to Goodwill because things were closed. And I mean, I was so tempted so many times to go out there and pull a lot of it back. But he's like, you're not touching that yarn.
I know.
So,
But
anyway.
oh well.
I mean, there was a reason you bought it in the first place.
Yep. Absolutely. So. Well, you bought it intentionally, probably. Well, probably. So
you know what? A lot of the things for me that end up that I'm not knitting are things that I bought on sale.
Yeah.
Right. Because you bought it because I mean, yeah, you kind of liked it, but it was a good deal. So you bought it. You're less likely probably to use that. I mean, if it's something that's on sale and it's something that you really wanted, that's awesome. But if you buy it just because it's on sale.
Truth be told, you've got two skeins of yarn. One you love. I mean, you love it, right? And then the other one, you're just like, well, I bought it because it was on sale. I didn't love it, but it was on sale. Okay, what do you want to knit with? You want to knit with this one, right? Yep. So that's the thing. But sometimes it's just nice to have like some B-side yarns, right?
Well, remember that? I mean, and a lot of it, like a lot of times, like a lot of the German sock yarns I get when they're on sale because I know I'm going to use them.
Yes.
I know they make great socks, especially for like all my sons, right? Because they're hard wearing and the patterns are nice and the colors are nice. So like in that case,
that's the other thing that I got in Listwool. I got Croy yarn. And because
okay, so how much yarn do you have for how many pairs of Croy socks now, Kelly?
Oh, lots. But so I had to rebuy the ones that I knit and they knit up too small that I gifted because I loved that colorway. Tracy got me on that one at our retreat. And I'm like, I have to have that. Poor Barb went to 2 stores to track that down for me and she got it. And then I knit them up the way I would normally knit socks and they were really tight. So that yarn runs a little bit small and I didn't know that.
But that's not the Croy. That's just that particular color.
It's just that one color. Yeah. Yes. So I got more of that. And then I got 2 other colorways that I hadn't seen before because, well, if you haven't seen them, you must need them. But I have an entire tote box of that yarn, like of Croy and like just other, well, not even no, I'm talking about the 50-gram balls. I have a whole tote box of that stuff, like of the, sock yarns. But those are what I go to. Like if I'm going to make socks for somebody that maybe I'm not 100% certain that they understand what a hand knit sock is all about and that I could trust them to never throw it in the washer or in the dryer. Those are the yarns you want to use because they can withstand a washer and even a dryer, right? And they don't wear out. They don't ever wear out.
Croy is Ross's favorite sock yarn to wear.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he actually, because I did get that, was it called Blue Marl or whatever the color?
Yes.
He got the socks that I knit out of that. So I don't have any of those, but I have a pink marl.
I have that one too.
Very pretty.
I don't even know what colors I bought. See, that's bad. You can't even remember that.
No, I have a whole lot of Croy too that I need to knit up. Maybe that'll be next year. It'll be everybody. I'll get a pair of Croy socks. Yes. I'm sure I have enough. But so Amanda said she gave her mom a whole grocery bag of baby yarn because she knits way more. And she's got a large family. So that's a good idea. So that's somebody's using it and getting use out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Yep.
And Jose said, sometimes you talk or you buy something online and you love it online, but it's not exactly the same. So yeah, I think we've all had that experience too.
I don't buy a whole lot.
Okay, wait, whoa. What? Susan says she may have gone a little bit crazy when Michaels was closing out Patton's Croy. Are you telling me Patton's Croy is not at Michaels anymore?
I know that I went a little crazy. I went a little crazy when Mary Maxim was selling it out when they were, because I got like the balls for like $3 each.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
but I didn't know that. I didn't know that Michaels was selling out of it.
I didn't know that. Because that was like my backup. You know, if I can't get to Listwool, that's the backup because Mary Maxim's is gone from London, like you say.
Yeah. Yep. So. And Nancy says she gave her teenage niece a bunch of cotton yarn and a set of hooks. That's a good idea too. And Becky says she's just joining. She's getting ready for a knitting retreat.
In Little Switzerland, North Carolina.
On a mountain edge. Wow. How come we didn't know about that?
I think I did know about that. I think Becky hosts the retreat.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be
I
awesome.
have the information. I don't know if it's the same one, but I'm sure it was in North Carolina. And is it? Maybe am I saying it wrong? I thought it was Becky. Somebody sent me a message, and I have it saved in my messages. And they were talking about this knitting retreat, and they said that we should come. But that was like right in the middle of pandemic, and we're like, oh, we can't go. Oh, yes, it is. It's Becky. Yes, it is Becky. Okay, good.
I'm gonna have
She
to
hosts a knitting retreat. I'll send you the information, Noelle.
Okay, we'll have to look at that for next year.
Yeah, for next year.
Do you do it every year, Becky?
No, she does it several times a year, if I recall.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, that.
Tracy said, "See, it's a good thing I went to Listowel."
you could have came over to my house and you could have got some there, but not the blue color. Not the blue color. I don't have any more.
You know what I think is funny is the fact that you and I buy each other more yarn too. And we do that frequently. So like I'll buy something. I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy one for Noelle. And then she shows up and she's like, oh, I bought you this. Anyway. We don't need it ourselves. We feel like if we give it,
I just like buying yarn. I just like buying yarn.
It just brings me joy. Exactly. And is it Marie Kondo? Was that the
her and I would not get along.
No, but was she was the organizing person, right? See, yeah. She said something. Does it spark joy? It sparks so much joy.
Exactly.
I don't have to knit it. I just have to sit and look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was
okay.
Now I want to go on a knitting retreat.
I'm going to put this up because she's. Oh no, I got the wrong comment. Sorry, Siwa. Or Sarah. I was looking at Iwa and Sarah at the same time. Here we go. It's called Carolina Fiber Retreats and Tours, and she's on Facebook. Okay. So bookmark this, everybody. This would be fun. We talk about we were going to Norway. Remember that when we talked about our big trip to Norway? This one we might actually be able to do. Like not anytime soon. Still, like
we're doing the Norway one if Tracy wins the lottery. She already told us that.
Oh, okay. We still can't go to we can't drive to the States.
No.
Yet, but we're hoping to be able to sometime soon. And Becky, I'd be all over that. That looks. I went on and I looked it all up, and it looks like a beautiful spot that you have. And I would totally love to come and sit and knit in Little Switzerland. Yeah. That sounds so much more worldly than just us traveling from Canada to the States, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah.
So thanks for sharing that again, Becky.
Yeah.
40 knitters. I'm so jealous.
I know.
So jealous. Sue says Patton's Croy is hard to find where you live. Where do you live, Sue? Where do you live? I know where you could get some.
Southwestern Ontario. Kelly's house, my house.
Yep, exactly. All right. I'm catching up.
Anyway.
Tracy said she hasn't won the lottery yet. Oh, Emily. That's a good thought.
And Netflix.
Emily wants to know if Marie Kondo has ever organized a crafter. I think that would put her over the edge. Clearly, she has not met up with people like us, Emily. I've never watched her show, but I know that it became a lot of people told jokes about it. And so I can't comment. I didn't watch any of the episodes, so I don't really know if I felt that there was merit or not merit. I just know that it was like the big joke for the longest time, but she was wildly popular and it was very well watched. So, but I wonder if she ever did that for a crafter. Exactly. You're so right. That would be good because we think differently.
I could knit while she organized my yarn stash.
And we wouldn't be able to give up anything because everything sparks joy. Right?
That's right. So anyway. Okay, Kelly. Well, it is we're going longer here.
I know, but it flew by tonight.
It did.
It flew by.
That's right, Sarah. Sarah, her whole stash sparks joy. I totally agree. I love looking at it, petting it, organizing it. I don't really like organizing it, but I do like planning.
I like organizing it. What I do is I keep buying more tote boxes, and then things that I had grouped in that tote box, well, then they get subcategorized into other tote boxes, and the tote box shelf keeps growing. But
yeah.
And Nikki just started organizing.
I know. I have yarn down here that I bought last week that I still haven't even moved to upstairs yet. Because I'm waiting to show it on the next podcast before I put it away. Anyway.
So you think you can knit? That's Sarah. I don't know what that is.
Oh, so you think you can knit instead of so you think you can dance.
Oh.
And you have judges.
Okay, see,
it's kind of like
I don't watch TV. You guys,
it's kind of like an American Idol for knitters.
So you think you can knit? And there would be knitting challenges.
I like that.
Knitting challenges.
Yes. Brioche week. Uh-oh. That's me. I put it on Do Not Disturb.
Is it FaceTime or is it FaceTiming you? Dance, Noelle.
No. I can't turn it off. Just a minute.
Gosh. Close up of Noelle's chest.
It's not even a number I know.
That's why it got through. Darn those scammy callers. Okay.
Well, how does it get through if I put it on Do Not Disturb?
I don't know. Sometimes mine goes through too. If they call more than once in 3 minutes or something. But anyway, I don't know.
Anyway.
Okay.
Well, on that note.
See, that must have been in the alarm. If you go over this time, get the heck off. You've live streamed too long. It's been so fun hanging out with you guys tonight. It's had kind of a crappy day, so this was a really nice end to it. Oh, it's not an end yet, but anyway.
Now you can go finish your sweater.
I can cast off. I'm ready to cast off.
Yeah.
So
I have to go get some supper. You probably haven't had supper yet either.
Tracy says, "Oh, that boob shot." Yes, when you stood up, we got Noelle full frontal.
Okay, then. My kids watch this. Well, no, they don't. My daughter and daughter-in-law, that's it.
Okay, ladies and gents. Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention that. I looked on our analytics. We now have 99.5% female followers, and we have 0.5%. I want to meet the 0.5% man.
Ross
I definitely do.
Ross watches it probably.
But does he watch it on his own account? Is that how he?
Yes,
we
he
need
does.
male knitters.
He does.
We could put an ad searching for male knitters. We want to bring everybody in.
Get husbands to watch on their own channel.
On their own channels, yes, on their own channels.
So,
okay,
everybody have a good week.
Have a safe week.
Get your DK socks on the go.
Have a nitty week. Yes.
Finish your shifty things.
Shifty things, yes, because this August is going to end before, what's the date today?
Today, it's August 31st is next Tuesday.
Okay, so that will be the end of all the shifty things. So get your things finished. Oh, Luana got her sock done. Yay, Luana.
Yay, Luana. So
I would look for the confetti again, but we don't want to overdo the confetti. Okay. All right, everybody, take care. Thanks so much for joining in.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.